Happy Friday, Reconders. Welcome to Recon. We've got myself, Don Aldrich in Scottsdale, and Louise and Matt are in Florida. We got a little surprise in for you today. Denny is flying over here to Scottsdale, so I hope he packed his sweater, because it's only 197 degrees. But Friday is a little special. We're gonna do. I won't spoil it just yet. I'll let Louise introduce it, and then Matt will take the captain seat. So, are we ready?
We're ready. Yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for showing up today. Hopefully, we can add some value to this next hour. It's an hour, right?
It can be.
All right. Yeah. Let's add some value to this. And before we have something planned. However, what I'd like people to do in the chat, let's hear about your biggest struggles this week. What's something you've struggled with this week that maybe we can help solve? So as we go through today, feel free, put some of your opportunities to grow in the chat so that we can address those because we're problem solvers. That's what we want to do. Go ahead, Louise.
Okay, so we last Friday we went through a scenario of the bull ride. We did that a couple of iterations with each person. It was a short, what are you saying for the first 10, 12 seconds of the call to prevent the other person from hanging up. We seem to get a lot of first time participants, so we can roll with that unless there's something else in mind.
Well, I have absolutely no problem doing that. I'd like to do that because I'd like to hear what people have to say, and then we can give some constructive criticism there. I don't see anybody putting in the chat any opportunities or struggles that they had this week. So we
Well,
can.
we do
What?
have
Jose's
one.
ready to go. Jose's
Oh,
a great sport.
Oh,
Matt, I
yeah.
had I had an opportunity, Matt. So
All right.
like I
Tell me.
was calling expired yesterday and canceled. And when I called them, we just did the role play yesterday, and I was practicing what Denny was talking about yesterday on the phone with them. And she came back and said, yes, we took it off the market or canceled, and we're not too sure about if we want to put it back on or not.
Hmm.
So they were kind of like wishy-washy about what they want to do. So I was trying to, so I have appointments with them now. Obviously, I got an appointment with them, but they were kind of wishy-washy at the beginning about, well, we don't know if we want to do it anymore, if we want to take it off the market, put it back on. We don't know what we want to do. So what do you do in that situation? Like when they're not sure about what they want to do as far as put it back on the market or keep it off the market. You know what I mean? I was kind of in a quandary, like, oh,
What direction did you take it?
put it back on the market.
I understand, but when they're saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I want to do this, or this. Like
I
where did
asked him,
Greg?
yeah. So I asked him, I said, okay, well, you put it on the market. So my initial thought was, okay, you put it on the market for a reason, right? So when I asked questions about that, she said, oh, well, now I got married, I have kids now, and the house is vacant, and I don't want to carry it anymore. I want to move on it. I want to get rid
Hmm.
of it. I said, oh,
Right.
okay, right.
Well,
And
so
that
what
led
it
me to,
so the whenever they don't know what to do, find out what was influencing them to do it in the first place.
okay, okay,
It like because ultimately if I'm saying I don't know what to do with this property, and then you ask me what was influencing me to sell it in the first place, and I say, well, initially we were moving for a job,
mm-hmm.
but didn't take the job, right?
Yeah,
So why move then? Do you
yeah,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Versus if they said, well, initially when we got started, we're in this relationship, we're married, I moved into his house, he didn't move here, kids are gone, house is empty. Okay. Sounds like selling is still very relevant. Yeah,
Yes,
and applicable, unless you want to be a landlord or have this house sit empty and do nothing for you.
yeah,
So, whenever they are not sure what to do, if they're, keep in mind, guys, if they don't answer the questions, for Christ's sakes, they're not real. I just got off the phone with a guy a couple minutes ago. Was calling it was 200 acres of property, and I asked him if he'd let me throw something by him, and he said sure, why not? And I just asked him about the property, and he said that he's going to keep it. And he asked me, he said something to the effect of, well, are you going to get to the point, or are we going to, get off the call? And I said, well, what do you mean get to the point? And he said, well, do you want to make an offer on the property? And I said, nah, not really. Then I asked him, I said, no, I don't. But are you, does this mean that you're not open to speaking to other realtors about the property? And he said, no, I wouldn't be. All right, great. I'll let you go. If they're not willing to have the conversation, guys, the last thing I want to do is have the conversation. There's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people out there that are ready, willing, and able to at least have a conversation about their ailment, meaning their need. So the problem that most agents have is they spend far too much time trying to convert the unconvertible. So get right to it. Just if you don't, we don't know what we're going to do. Great. What caused you to do it in the first place? And if they tell you none of your business or whatever it is, move on to the next one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, great. Right. When you're ready to talk, I'll be here.
All right. Good. All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Matt.
But
Yep,
absolutely.
Yep.
What else do we have? I was calling through expired lists yesterday, but I found that most calls now get an AI voicemail that filters the calls. You're not the only one. How the heck do you say your name, by the way? Please unmute yourself and tell me how to say your name.
Dimeji.
Dimeji. It's a beautiful name. I did not want to butcher it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna get that a lot. Here's what I do. And by the way, if y'all don't know me, my name's Matthew. I am a prospector. I make 300-400 dials a day. That's how I make my living, or made my living. Still make my living, but how I got here. This new whole kerfuffle with the AI, it's really easy. But what I did find, remember we talk about being in alignment with our integrity a lot on here, or if you haven't been on here when I've said that, you always want to be in alignment with your integrity. In other words, you don't want to be out of integrity, meaning don't get on there and say, hey, this is the fire department calling, your house is on fire, right? But also what I've done in the past is I've said, hey, this is Matthew returning a phone call. Well, I'm not returning a phone call. And I had a guy call me out on that about 2 weeks ago. So I immediately stopped it. I immediately stopped doing it. It works every once in a while, but when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And I don't like that. In other words, I want to, whenever I get up to bat, and I'm going to land the plane, so give me a second. Whenever I get up to bat, I want to ensure that I have the highest potentiality to at least have some semblance of a quality conversation, right? So even if that is outing myself as somebody they might not want to talk to from the beginning. But what I don't want to do is say, hey, this is Matthew returning a phone call. Then they pick up the call and say, who the hell are you? You're not returning my call. That's essentially what happened with one fella. So I immediately iterated. And now what I do is I just say, hey, when it answers, this is, because Google has a different one. Apple has a different one. And there's another one out there too. I've run into about 3 or 4 of them. All of them I handle the same way now. It's Matthew with Keller Williams calling for Don. It's Matthew with Keller Williams calling for Don. Or I've said, hey, this is Matthew with Keller Williams, wanted to run something by you. And it's really funny because most of them pick up. Just keep it short. Matthew with Keller Williams wanted to run something by you. Matthew with Keller Williams calling Don. Matthew with Keller Williams calling Tiffany. Matthew with Keller Williams calling Jose. That's it. Just do that. Don't try to get fancy. Don't try to get sexy. Don't get disingenuous. Saying, I saw one guy on social media say, yeah, this is, the IRS or something stupid like that. It's like, just be genuine. And the cool thing is, even if they don't pick up, guys, the funny thing that I've noticed is when I do that, hey, this is Matthew with Keller Williams calling to speak to Jason. When they don't pick up, they also have an option to allow you to leave the voicemail.
Yep.
Well, what I've noticed when you're not forthcoming with who you are, they'll just hang the voicemail up. But what I've noticed when I'm genuine, I say, this is Matthew with Keller Williams, calling Don. They let me leave the voicemail and then they call me back. And in the voicemail, what I do is I just say, hey, this is Matthew with Keller Williams. I'm sure that, and in the voicemail, I use one of my witty sayings. Hey, this is Matthew with Keller Williams. Listen, I know your phone is probably busier than a one-armed traffic cop at the Super Bowl. I wanted to run something by you. Give me a shout. If it's not relevant, we'll hang up on each other. And then I just get off the phone. That's it. It's the voicemail. Sometimes I leave less. But I typically do something like that. Hey, it's Matthew with Keller Williams. Don, I know your phone's just ringing like a dinner bell in a firehouse. Give me a shout when you get this. Wanted to run something by you.
Do we need to put the address of the property?
No, less is more, because the point of conflict is when you don't identify who you are. So even if I said, hey, this is Matthew, I was calling about 123 Main Street. Give me a call when you get this. Even just saying it like that, I feel so out of alignment with my integrity because I'm not identifying that I'm a realtor. Right? So it's Matthew with Keller Williams, calling to speak with Don. Or, hey, Don, if you know it's them, right? I love it when their voicemail identifies who they are. Don, Matthew with Keller Williams. Wanted to run something by you. Give me a ring when you get this. If it's not relevant to you, I will hang up on myself. And it's funny because most people call me, the people that call me back, they're kind of laughing when they call me back. They're like, I really liked your voicemail. It was different than everybody else. So that's how you get around those things, guys. And it's not even necessarily a, quote, get around. You're not trying to get around them. All I want to do is set it. If there were a way, like when I was in the military, before we would go on an operation, we would all kind of sit in a situation room and we would plan it out. We'd strategize. This is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. These contingencies, if this happens. I treat prospecting the exact same way. Prospecting is the exact same way. So what I want to do when I'm making phone calls is every way that I could have potentially set myself up to step on a landmine, I want to remove that. And what would stepping on a landmine look like? Well, it would look like you being disingenuous and saying, hey, Don, it's the fire department calling because your house is on fire. And then they answer and it's like, what the hell, man? So just be genuine. It's Matthew with Keller Williams. Call and talk with Don. Hey, Don, Matthew with Keller Williams. Wanted to run something by you. They'll typically answer.
Matt, I just had the thought, it's kind of like a reverse bull ride.
100%.
You want to sound different than all the other people that are calling back. Hey, I'm calling about your house that expired. Leaving a message is like that is a reverse bull ride that hopefully will get them to call you back.
Yeah.
If they do, great. If they don't, who cares?
Yep. Because most people most realtors that are calling are the funny thing about prospecting, the reason why most realtors sound the same is because they're so scared to be themselves.
Yep.
And I'm unapologetically myself. Unapologetic. Now I've chameleonized myself over the years to be able to communicate with all personality types. However, I'm going to be unapologetically genuine on my calls. So yeah, the most people that are calling and leaving these types of messages, God, I can already hear them in my ears. It's, oh, this is Matthew with Keller Williams Realty. I saw your house came off the market on 123 Main Street. And like they're literally saying this to the AI, right? It's like, I immediately hang up. Just keep it short. Matthew with Keller Williams calling to talk to Don. Want to run something by you.
Yep. All
right. Does that help?
Yeah, no, it
Thumbs up?
definitely helps. Because if they don't call back, okay, then you didn't waste your time. If they're going to call you, they're going to call you.
Yeah, one other strategy that I gave a coaching client the other day is when you identify that it actually is the property owner. So like I'm calling and Dawn's AI or Dawn's voicemail identifies Dawn. Well, now you know it's them.
Yeah.
So leave a voicemail and guess what? Put them in a separate list. Now you know who he is. Send him a text. But not these BS texts that all these other realtors send. Just send him a video text. Every time I have a good conversation, I'm giving you guys my nuggets now. I shouldn't be doing that because I know Greg lives by me. But yeah, every good conversation I have, and I'm not saying you're having a good conversation with these people. The people that I've identified, like I know I have Greg's number. After you get done prospecting, send him a video. If you didn't get him, send him a video text. Hey, Greg, Matthew, Keller Williams, just wanted to show you I'm a real person. Don't have horns and a pitchfork. Give me a shout when you have 17 seconds to talk about your property. If it's not relevant, we'll shake hands and part as friends. Imagine getting that in a video text message. Who else do you think is sending that?
Yeah, good point. So Matt, here's a question then. So do you send text messages to everybody you call?
No.
If they don't answer the phone? Okay.
No. Like I said, only when I've identified, I've got Louise's number. I've got Dawn's number. I've got Greg's number. I know this is their number. Then I'll send a text if I did. And hold on. I as you can tell, I get fired up about prospecting. Get short of breath. I'm like, this is great. No, I'm not going to have a heart attack, guys. I'm good. Only for the listings that you want as well. So if I call Don and I confirm it's Don's number and he owns a $70,000 tin can in a trailer park, no offense to anybody, to get a hold of Don is more work than it's worth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to do that. But
because that was my next question, Matt, for you. So, I mean, there are some listings you don't want. I shouldn't say you don't want. If it's $100,000 house, like, you know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line? Like, put your time and effort, right? Because it all costs the same.
One phone call. Yeah. When it's like, if it's under 250, it's one and done. And if they call me back, here's the thing. If I get on the phone with them and we're having a great civil discourse, I like to call it, meaning I talk and reciprocity as well. I talk, they talk. I ask, they ask. This, if it's a good back and forth, I'll have a conversation with any dollar amount.
Okay.
Right? But the second that it's like, no, hey, Greg owns a $10,000 lot in Northport. And he's like, listen, you MFer, bring me a buyer. And it's, all right, peace, bye, I'm gone. It's like a $10,000 lot, right? I'm not, no. So the higher the reward, the more I'm willing to, the more of my tools I'm willing to use.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then Jose asked really quick, because I don't want to lose this. What's the message if you don't? What's the message if you don't have the name? Yeah, same. It's the same thing, just without the name. I've been doing it a lot lately. I'm getting a lot of callbacks, and that's just, hey, it's Matthew with Keller Williams. Give me a shout when you get this. 941-216-7985. I'll try you again later.
Hey, Matt, can I ask a quick question?
No. Yes. What's up?
What's your task schedule if they don't answer?
Next.
Do you call them back? Like, do you put them on a task schedule? That's where I struggle.
Next. There's the ocean of abundance
too much pond.
The ocean of abundance is infinite. You could go to it with an eyedropper and say that's all I get for the day, or you can go to it with a Mack truck and fill it up 1,000 times and it won't go down a zillionth of an inch. So I'm just going to keep moving. Unless it's somebody that I also have this philosophy of cherry picking, right? So Dawn lives in a very nice area. And if I wanted listings in Dawn's area and I knew I had the property owner's information, I would have a much higher propensity to be more diligent trying to get a hold of them than I would the $70,000 tin cans or the $10,000 lots.
If it's a listing you want, right?
Yeah, if it's something I really want, yeah, I'm gonna be more diligent. However, What I'm not going to do is become so myopically focused on that one property.
Right.
Because what I used to do, guys, and I am still culling my database right now, because for years when I was with my father-in-law and his team, it was you follow up until they either buy, sell, or die.
Yep.
And I called.
I know your father-in-law.
I know you do. And I to this day, I can look in my database right now. I've got people I've called 200 times and I've probably spoken to twice. So again, ocean of abundance is infinite. So what I do now is you get 4 calls from me. Because and Go for No talks about this. People typically have to say no 5 to 6 times before they transact. So you get 4 calls from me. And on the 4th call, if you don't answer, not only do I leave a voicemail, because I leave a voicemail every time, but then I send a text as soon as I hang up. And I say, hey, Lori, haven't been able to get you since April. Haven't been able to get you since April. I'm guessing you've totally given up on me now. Question mark. And
I stopped leaving voicemails because they never call back. But I do leave a voice text, but they still don't respond. So that's where I started to ask myself, should I have a schedule? Like, because I'll forget to call them. I'm really bad at tasks.
So I don't want to spend a lot of time on the nuance of it today, because there's nuance to it. Like if Dawn and I had a really good conversation, like really good, and Dawn's like, no, connect with me in the future, please. And then I would follow up with, Dawn, if I don't get you, what would you like me to do? I ask that question a lot when I'm calling people. Lori, let's say I call you in 6 months and I don't get you. What would you like me to do? Lori would say, well, keep calling or text me. Right. So there's nuance to it, but I'll call 4 times and I'll leave 4 voicemails. Hey, it's Matthew, getting back to you as promised. Call me as soon as you get this. I'll try you again next week. Hey, it's Matthew, getting back to you as promised. Call me as soon as you get this. I'll try you again next week. You get that 4 times. After the 4th time, you're going to get a text message. Hey, it's Matthew. Haven't been able to reach you since April. Call me as soon as you get, or not call me. Have you completely given up on me? Question. That's it. That is it. They respond to it in most cases. And if they don't, guess what? The next week, because I set a reminder to see if they to remind myself, did they reply? So did they reply a week from today? I'll check. And if they didn't reply, they get 1 more text. Hey, it's so 6 times in total. Hey, it's Matthew. Still haven't been able to reach you. Where do we go from here? Question mark. That's it. Literally, where do we go from here? And then I trash them. Move on. The ocean of abundance is infinite. I want to speak to people that want to speak to me.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Let me roll. There was a few questions in here. What if the name is not on the listing? A lot of time it isn't. FSBO. Oh yeah, that's fine. What you focus on expands. I don't need to know your name to have a good conversation with you. So, Whitney, in that regard, I would just say, hey, if you're leaving, if this is a voicemail, because that's kind of the conversation we've been having, is I would just say, hey, it's Matthew with Keller Williams. Give me a shout as soon as you get this. Wanted to run something by you. Don't need to know your name. And if they pick up, then that's fine. You just say, it's funny when they pick up now and I don't know their name, I just go right into it. Hey, this is Matthew. I sigh. I do sigh. Hey, this is Matthew. If I told you I was a realtor, would you throw your phone in the water? And I haven't asked their name. No, and they say, oh yeah, no, whatever they say, right? And then I just say, well, can I run something by you real quick? And in the second it's not relevant, we'll end the call. So I don't even need to know their name. I've gone through at least 10 phone calls this week where I had no idea who I was talking to until the very end. And I'll ask their name at the end.
Hey, Matt, Fanda very early asked how to respond to an inquiry to the commission on the phone. Want to play with that?
Yeah.
Fanda.
Where's she at? Let me see. Fonda Lynch. How do I respond to an inquiry and the commission on the phone? Are you prospecting or is this somebody you have a relationship with, Fonda?
I just one time I talked to a expired for sale by owner. He just directly talk about the commission on the phone. I just only 1% commission. Would you like to accept that? Just something like that. I got a lot of phone calls. I mean, sometimes I talk to the even the buyers. They began to talk about the commission on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Remember, what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. So the problem that most realtors have is when they get a question about the commission, they see it as an objection, and it's not necessarily an objection, right? It's a buying signal. So they're what's the price, right? What are you going to charge me? And so the way I answer it's really simple. It's just, well, depending on how the property sells, Fonda, it's going to be somewhere between 4 and 6%. But what's most important to you? Is it what we charge or what you net? That's it. And you notice how I don't get all panicked and I don't get all flustered and I don't get overwhelmed or there's not a huge long pause. It's just, yeah, that's a good question. It really depends on how the house sells. And a contractor would tell you the same thing. Fonda, how much is it going to cost to paint my house? Well, it depends. How big's your house? Right? How big's your house? And how much crap do I have to take off the wall? How much furniture do I have to move? How much of your landscaping do I have to cut away from the house? How much of your trash do I have to move? Right? It depends. So that's why I say, well, depends on how it sells. It's anywhere between 4 and 6%. But what's most important to you? Is it what you net or is it what we charge? How's that?
Yeah, that sounds great. How much you charge or how much you net?
Yeah, well, what's most it's what we charge depends on how the home sells. It's anywhere between 4 and 6% or whatever you charge, guys. There's no set number. It depends on how the home sells. So, but anywhere between 4 and 6%. What is most important to you though? Is it what we charge or is it what you net? And then that's it. You move on. And because here's the thing, because they're going to say, well, what I net, of course, right? Okay, great. That's what I'm going to focus on. What other questions can I answer for you before we get started? I don't speak power. I don't give it power. I don't let it grow legs on me. So, yeah, hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Can I say one more time, please? I'm taking notes. What are you talking about, Muhammad? What options are you considering?
No, sorry, I was asking for you to repeat when you were talking about the expired voicemail, but I think you already covered that.
Yep, we're good. But there's a ton of land. I can't skip over the land due limited amount of houses. Yeah, Whitney, I know you live in BFE. You and I already talked about that. So just it's fine. You one of our agents in the Sarasota Market Center, he used to be the king of the $1,200 lot back in the day. Because we used to have like 1 million lots in Northport that were all $1,200 a piece. You could buy a whole street for 10 grand. It was crazy. But yeah, there's no shame in having to do what you have to do to get business. And then you and I've even talked about on one of our calls, eventually stretching the boundaries a bit, and going into different areas that, might be a little bit further away, but they're higher dollar for you. Again, risk, reward.
And what did Tiffany Lord mean by calling the expireds at a cadence before you let them fall off? That's an interesting question. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, tell me about that, Tiff. I was just reading that. Tiff, are you dead?
You're on mute.
Man, Tiffany.
Oh, hello.
Hi. What did you mean by cadence?
I have a client. I was just asking, I think you explained earlier already about the cadence of which you call like expired. So I'm good.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, I call expireds. All right. Did Robert have a question or just kind of a statement? They chose that. Would you? Oh, okay. No, it is a question. Would you recommend pulling the home off the market and then coming back on the market at a new price with the revised bedroom bathroom count, or just do a price change? Yeah, when you're oh man, 6 weeks, 3 weeks, no calls, so it's a 3-bed, 1-bath. Yeah, take it off the market. It's not even the same listing anymore. It's not. It's a different property now, because you're going from a 3-1 to a 3-2. It's
Agreed.
yeah. You take it off the market, and I think it's asinine, because I've seen other agents do it. I've seen other agents literally just update the bedrooms and bathrooms in the same listing, increase the price, and the house not sell. So take it off. And here's the thing. You're going to pay for new pictures. That's okay. I have a listing right now that's closing in 3 weeks. It's closing in 3 weeks. I've ordered 3 or 4 sets of professional photography on that house, because we've taken it off the market that many times. And now it's finally under contract and they're moving. So just take it off, put it back on. Because the reason I'm mentioning the photography is because every time they change something just a little bit, and every time we took new pictures, because invariably, if we tried to use the old pictures, people would get there and they'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, this is different. This is so I say this all the time. It's kind of trite. The act of selling a property is the act of eliminating objections or overcoming objections. When you're selling a property, the goal for the seller is to eliminate as many objections as possible. So in other words, a buyer walks in, right? What are the objections they're going to have? Your responsibility as a listing agent, as a realtor, and the responsibility of the seller is to eliminate as many of the objections as possible that a buyer would have, within reason. So that's one of those things. Take it off, put it back on. All right. Courtesy, Matt. How can you respond to a seller and that she wants to be more creative, and I have already done the 3 outcomes with her, and she doesn't seem to understand any idea? Huh. Well, Carlos, my friend,
yeah.
It all comes back to the 3 things: why they're doing it, when they need to do it by, what happens if they don't. Let me say something really quick. If I'm a betting man, she doesn't need to sell this house.
You're right.
Beautiful. Knew it. Because what do people with unmet expectations cost us? Time, peace, money, relationships. Doesn't matter if it's a seller, doesn't matter if it's a buyer, it doesn't matter if it's Lori, my friend Lori. People with, and I'm just being funny, guys. People with unmet expectations, it doesn't matter who they are and what they represent. They cost you time, money, peace, and relationships. I'm going to expand on that a little bit more for the people who don't understand what I'm saying. You hire a seller, right? Seller hires you. And they want way too much money for their house, and they don't need to sell it. How hard are they going to fight you when you call them and say the market's not accepting your price? Pretty hard, right? So, time. You're having to spend time servicing that client. You're having to call them every week or every 2 weeks, right? Money. Now you've got this seller. They want too much money for their house, and they don't need to sell it, and you're spending marketing dollars. And guess what sellers that don't need to sell want? More marketing, more marketing, more marketing, more marketing. People that don't need to sell want that. I don't know why my whiteboard is loading. It's not my whiteboard. Oh, it's Paula Orr's whiteboard. Paula, can you take that down? So you're Sherry. I think Sherry's. What in the world is going on here?
Not me.
Yeah, it's taken over.
It's weird because the share screen is only for the host.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what I did.
I tell you what, my love, leave the, I hate to see you go, but leave and come back.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
So now you've got this seller. Yeah, there we go. Now you've got this seller They don't need to sell. They want too much money for their property, and you're spending money on marketing. And the music to a seller's ears that they don't need to sell and they want too much money is, where are you marketing my property? So now you're spending the money on them. Where does peace come in? Well, guess what Don and I are doing when we hire a seller that doesn't need to sell and they want way too much money? Guess what Don and I are doing at night when we lay down on our pillow and in our bed? We're staring at the damn ceiling saying, what the hell do I do with this person? It's costing. And then Don's talking to his wife and I'm talking to my wife and I'm saying, I can't get it. What the hell is wrong with these people? That's peace. If you have to mention another person's name to another person and it's not in a, man, I think Don's an amazing guy, right? If it's anything other than something like that, they're costing you peace. They're taking up rent-free space in your head and you're letting them.
And then they're taking up the relationship and your wife says, all you ever talk about is real estate.
That's why I said that's why the last one is yes. Yeah. People with unmet expectations, now that we've kind of brought it full circle. Every time, Carlos, people with unmet expectations will cost you your time, your money, your peace, and your relationships. Not all at once, sometimes at once, but not always all at once. And eventually it will absolutely cost you relationship with the client. So and with other people, right? So in this situation, any ideas would be this. You go to them when you do your market update this week or next week or whenever it is, and you say, actually, I'll just give you the conversation. Carlos, we've been on the market for 95 days. We've had 2 showings, 0 offers. We've been viewed about 5,000 times, so we know that the marketing is working. 2 of our competitors have gone to contract and sold. 5 of our competitors are under contract right now, so we know the buyers are buying. There's one problem. They're not buying us, i.e. the market is telling us no. I only need you to answer one question for me today, and then I'll let you go. How much longer are you willing to stay at this price and have your home not sell? Because my message is going to be exactly the same every single week. And if they try to take you off and say, well, we got to get more creative, it's no. You can, because ultimately you're allowing it, you brought it to this call, it's impacting your peace. Your peace has been stolen. You don't know what to do with this client. And the answer might be in front of you. You answered it. She doesn't need to sell. So your answer may be, you have that conversation with her. It can cost you your reputation too. You're right, Debbie. Yeah, you're right. And sometimes the best thing you can do is let them go. Yep. Hey, I'm sorry, Carlos, if you want to continue to, because you can even joke like I've done before. I can strap a picture of your house to a rocket ship, Carlos, and shoot it to Mars. And that would cost me millions of dollars. If we can't get a buyer to write a check for what you want for your property, it's not worth it. And right now the market is telling us that very thing. So I only need you to answer the one question. How much longer are we going to continue to do this before we change something? We've eliminated this price and everything above it. There's one direction to go. What would you like to do? And if they say blah, 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 anything other than repositioning, then you decide how much longer you want to service the listing. And it can end right then. Don't feel bad. And don't charge them anything either, you cheap SOB. I'm just kidding. But don't charge them. Just let them go. Because that's where your reputation, that's where agents really cut their nose off to spite their face. Then they try to charge them something for letting them go. Nope, let them go. You just paid dummy tax. Don't pay the dummy tax again.
Yeah. Matt, that reminds me, yesterday, Danny put up on the screen, and I actually used it yesterday. You know, Mr. Seller, the market votes every day. Mm-hmm. And they're not coming to the polling booth and putting a check mark next to your name. In fact, what I said was, the market's voting every day. It isn't once every 4 years.
Right.
But it might take that long to sell it if you stay at this price.
Right.
And they laughed.
Yeah,
and they laughed.
Yeah, they love it, right? Yeah, the market casts its votes every day, and as you can see, it's cast its vote for your competition.
Yep.
How many more of your competitors do you want to get elected before you sell?
Yep. The market is never wrong.
That's right.
The question is, do you want to listen to it? And again, there's a cost for listening. And you know what, Matt? I'm no longer willing to pay that price. I'm not paying the cost. I'm going to let you go. Go find somebody else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And you can even at that point, Carlos, and I don't like to rub things in people's face ever, but in that situation, you can say, hey, Carlos, unfortunately, I don't think I can meet or exceed your expectations. I would rather turn you down now than let you down later. And just so you know, Carlos, most agents in this situation would be charging you some money. I'm just going to let you go because I value you as a person.
Yep.
Right. And that the last thing that I said is most important. I'm just going to let you go. I'm not going to charge you anything because I value you as a person. What you're doing is you're supplanting the seeds that when they go somewhere else, they hire someone else. My arms will be open. My phone will be on. My door will be open if it doesn't work out. Always leave them with a good taste in your mouth.
I think sometimes we have to remember we are also worthy. Like we don't have to take every listing. I battle with that, and I'm sure a lot of people battle with that. Like it's almost ego competition rather than radical humility. Like I have to have this listing, so that I can have listings because I'm a realtor, and we forget that that's our time. So am I taking a listing that's taking my time to get a listing that's actually going to work?
Guys, I know that this industry can be very feast or famine. I get it. Keep in mind, even though, and I've said this before, even though I'm the first millionaire in my family by virtue of making phone calls, okay? Even though I've created some financial runway in my life, and it's not everybody has that. I get it. However, even when I didn't have that financial space, that runway in front of me, hear me clearly when I say this, guys. Please, 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 if I can impart one piece of wisdom upon you today to help you avoid paying dummy tax that I have paid in my career unnecessarily. When I say I would rather have zero listings than 100 that will not sell, I mean it. Because every listing you take is money, especially if you don't have financial runway in front of you. And when I say financial runway, I mean you don't have like enough money in the bank. You don't have enough month at the end of the money. Okay? Every listing you take, you have to service with money out of your pocket. So would you rather have 50 listings that you've spent a little bit of money on, all of them, and they're not selling? Or would you rather spend your most precious asset, which is your time, standing in front of the desk that I'm standing in front of right now, making phone calls, looking for people that need your help? There's much more reward in that than there is in taking listings that won't sell, because people with unmet expectations cost you your time. If you got 50 listings that won't sell, you aren't calling new prospects every week. You're having to call the old ones and tell them their house is overpriced all week. So you don't even have time to prospect or meet new clients because you're having to service the old overpriced, excuse my French, shit. I would rather here's the phone calls I would be making if I were in that situation. And guys, I get so fired up about this, so I appreciate your grace. I would rather you stand in front of, if you've got listings right now that you've been dealing with this about, and they don't need to sell, guys, keyword need to sell. If they need to sell, then you have a moral and ethical obligation to have a reconsult with them. Let's get this shit together. Excuse my French again. But if they don't need to sell, your prospecting today needs to look like you calling them and firing them gracefully. That needs to be your prospecting. So that you can then spend all next week finding people that need your help. Right? I'm not telling you to call and fire every client you have. If there are people that need your help, you have a moral and ethical obligation to service them in every way you can. And that might be a learning moment and coaching moment for you. But if you've got a Rolodex of business right now that you've spent a lot of money on, don't smoke hopium, because hopium works both ways. Hopium's the most deadly drug in the world for sellers, but it's also the most deadly drug in the world for realtors.
Yep.
Don't take 25 listings that are overpriced and then smoke hopium. They're going to sell. Oh, they might sell. Yeah. Okay, great. They might. They very well might. But every day that you have a list or a book of business that's not transacting and it's not heading in that direction, then you're having to devote so many hours of your work week to calling and having the same conversations with them. And I'm looking at Carlos right now. Conversations like Carlos has to have with that client. And if he didn't have that client to have that conversation with, guess who he could be calling? And the other thing is, last thing I'll say about this, John Assaraf talks about how you only have so many mental units each day. Every day you wake up, you only have so much brain power. I never used to believe this. I used to think that it was just an infinite well. And then I wondered why at the end of the day, I would have what I call mashed potato mouth. So you hear how eloquently I can speak right now, and I seem like I'm witty and I'm on top of my game. Yeah, talk to me at 6 o'clock at night. I can't put one coherent sentence together. I sound like a toddler. Well, do you want to spend your brain power having the same conversations with the same people every single week? No, I'm sorry. I just don't. And my board back here, which you really can't see too well, that board right there, that's my business. That's the heartbeat of my business. And it was empty up until about May. And now it took off. Now I'm at 19 units closed. And I'm on track again. Why though? Why? Because I didn't have a board full of people that weren't going to sell. I was working to find them. And guess what, baby? I found them. I found a lot of them. And now they're all transacting. So
you had a clean highway to move down. And on that note, I mean this, just like you said, Matt, I would rather go out today and knock on doors at 110 degrees for an hour, hour and a half, than make those calls to people that I know. It's just, I'm just rewriting the same script. Go out and find somebody new.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel better at the end of the day, even if you strike out, if you have activities that at least are moving you forward versus activities you're going down with them, you're drowning with them. That sucks.
Yeah,
right?
you're both on the Titanic.
Yeah.
And get this analogy, guys. You're both on the Titanic because it's sinking, right? We all agree the Titanic sunk, right? Okay, it's not propaganda. It's not, what do they call that? It's not conspiracy theory. Titanic sunk. So if you have all these clients that we're talking about, you and the client are standing on the Titanic as it is sinking, and you're throwing deck chairs off, pretending that it's not going to sink now. Right? I'm throwing these deck chairs off it. Oh, we're going to be buoyant enough to keep floating. No, you're just going down.
No.
So get off that. And now here's one caveat I'm going to give everybody, and then we can move on with the time we have left. The one caveat is this, and Carlos, I'm looking at you again. If you can have a conversation with this person and explain to them that this message is not going to change, if you want to continue to take this medicine that you're already taking, i.e. staying overpriced, if you want to continue to keep taking this medicine, that's okay. Under one condition, actually two. Number one, I do not get a phone call asking me why your property hasn't sold in 6 months. Because the only answer I'm going to have for you is the market hasn't accepted your price. The second condition is I don't get a phone call from you every single week asking me what's going on. Because the market is speaking. It's a question of whether you want to listen to it or not. So if you guys want to keep those overpriced listings, you can, but you have to have that conversation with them. Hey, if you want to keep taking this medicine, guys, that's perfectly fine. I will let you continue to take the medicine that is not going to cure your sickness with two conditions. Number one, You don't hunt me down every week asking me what's going on because the market's speaking. We're not listening. Number two, I don't get a phone call in 6 months asking me why it hasn't sold because my answer is only going to be the market hasn't accepted the price. If we can agree to that, then we can keep smoking hopium together. I'm just not going to keep calling you every week giving you the same message. Good?
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
have some, yeah, for sure. I have some clients that are like that. Just so you know, I think I have 1 or 2 listings that they want to smoke opium, and that's okay. But I set those expectations, Carlos. Just so you guys know, I set those expectations at the listing table, so I don't have to do it now. You're in the middle of the river now. You've got to have the conversation in the middle of the river. That's okay. You can. And then you can decide if you keep going. But it's under 2 conditions. If you want to keep doing this in this way, that's fine. I have 2 conditions. 1, you do not hunt me down every single week asking what I'm going to be doing creative to sell the property. The market is speaking. We're not listening. Number 2, don't call me in 6 months asking me why it hasn't sold. Market hasn't accepted the price will be my only answer to you. And then you can keep the overpriced listings and move on with your life. All righty. What else, guys? Sorry, thank you for your grace. I got a bit of almost had a heart attack there, like stroked out. That was a good one.
That was a filibuster.
That's right. Anything else, guys? I got phone calls I can make.
Matt, I got a question back to phone calls. I'm not sure if I'm asking you to give away exactly what the role play is next week. I don't remember exactly what you said, but I'm curious, how do you approach a situation when you leave a voicemail, you get a call back, the person briefly introduces themselves, and you have no idea who they are and what their situation is, and you don't want it to sound like, yeah, I'd love to help you, but who are you?
Yeah. What you focus on expands. Remember, where your focus goes, energy flows. In other words, I know where your head goes, and I know where most agents' heads go on this call every time they get that call back, and it's panic. Like, oh, I got to know who this person is. I need to sound smart. Let your first word, your first thought always be your breath. So remember, I'm a mindset and communications coach. That's my specialty. It's funny. I'm a mindset coach, but I'm also a crazy person. It's you find some of the most value in the chaos, right? Who better to coach mindset than a crazy person? I'm getting deep on this one, so I appreciate you guys giving me the space. Ego is the enemy. Okay, and so when we get these, I'm setting the table for the answer to your question, Rowan. Ego's the enemy. The problem with us being human and also being realtors, right? They're 2 different creatures in and of themselves, humans and realtors. I fervently believe that. We feel that we need to be all knowledgeable every second of every day, every phone call, every word, and it is okay. It is okay, guys, to say I don't know. So when you get the call back and you don't know who they are, and put your ego aside. You don't need to know who they are. You don't need to know the property. It's okay to ask to call them back. It's okay. So put your ego aside. Don't pretend like you need to know everything, because that's where my head used to go. Shit, here's the call. I pick it up and I just would pretend like I knew everything, and I would stop. Just stop. Slow down. Take a breath. You answer the call, and they say, well, hey, you called me earlier. What are you calling about? And you can just let them know, hey, well, my name's Rowan. And, I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. I might have called you about a property earlier. You wouldn't have had a property come off the market, or you wouldn't have had a property come off the market recently, would you? Right? If you were calling expireds, because you typically know who you're calling that day. So it's you don't have to know them. You don't have to know the property. It's Rowan. Hey, my name is Rowan with Keller Williams, and I might have called you about a property earlier that came off the market. Would that mean anything at all to you? Then let them tell you. You notice how I gave them the space to tell me what the call would be about? Yeah, I might have been calling you about a property earlier that came off the market. Would that mean anything in the world to you? And they'll tell you, oh yeah, my house came off. Okay, gotcha. Well, which home's yours? Right? Which home's yours? Notice how I don't care who they are. Don't care what their name is. Well, which home is yours? And then you just have a normal conversation. Or, Rowan, here's the other avenue. If you think that maybe you don't have the capacity to do that, meaning if it's not in alignment with your character, just say, yeah, well, this is Rowan with Keller Williams. I'm I'm driving down the road right now. Would you be offended if I gave you a call back when I got to a stopping point? It's that simple. You don't have to know who they are. You don't even have to continue the conversation. You just take the call. Hey, this is Rowan Keller Williams. I wanted to take your call. I'm driving right now. Would you be offended if I called you right back? And then guess what Rowan can do after that? He can get to his office, get to wherever he's going. He can pull up the number, find out the property. And then you can call him right back. Hey, you know what, Rowan? You're right. I did call you. Can I tell you why I called you initially? And then you can tell me if we need to keep talking. Right? I've done that thousands of times. Does that help?
Yes, thank you, sir.
For sure. Yep. Always subjugate your ego, because it's the ego that gets you in trouble and makes you think, oh crap, I've got to take this call and I have to remember their property. And some of my clients that are committed to working with me, they call me and I'm like, who the hell are you? So I don't always pretend like I know everything. You don't have to. Less is more. It takes up less space in my head. Less head space, the less I have to remember. But yeah, I don't even save clients' phone numbers. They call me and they're just like, "Hey, Matthew," and I said, "Hey, forgive me. I don't have your number saved. Who am I talking with?" But where most realtors, most people in general, and I play with them sometimes, they'll pretend like they know you and they have no idea who you are. So that's ego. They don't want to look stupid. That's the ego trying to protect them from looking stupid. Throw that crap away.
Yep. Learned a long time ago, and I do it now. Let's say I forget Matt's name, and I'm going to be the first one to say, and it doesn't throw him under the bus, to say, Matt, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I'm sorry, I'm Don, and I forgot your name. So I'm letting Matt off the hook because I know he forgot my name too, right? Instead of pretending that we know each other. Hey, Matt, or hey, I'm sorry, my name's Don. How did we meet? I forgot.
Yeah.
And most people will appreciate that because you just let them off the hook. Get the ego out of the way.
Radical humility.
Hey, Matt, real quickly, back to your other point. When you say the buyer, the seller is calling you about why the home hasn't sold, how much time do you give it? Like, so you list the home, right? You do a lot of listings, right? You put it out there in the market. If it doesn't move within X number of days, is that when you start having the conversation about it being overpriced, or like, how do you know when to
have the conversation?
Yeah, about the pricing, because the market is what it is. Right? They say 90 days now. I guess is the average sale time. But
yeah, I'm a little bit different than Denny in this regard, but I tell you what. Yeah, I'll do it. So, guys, the National Association of Realtors states that you get 70% of your showing activity in the first 30 days on market. A properly priced home, regardless of what the market is doing, should sell in 30 days or less. Regardless of what the market is doing, should sell in 30 days or less, properly priced. We also know that a properly priced home, this is where Denny would disagree. However, I've read the studies. I have checked showing time for every single pricing bracket from $0 to 20 million. And I don't know if they're on the call. Are you on the call, girls? No. Yes, they are. The girls, when I say the girls, I'm talking about the twins. because we work together. I even showed them the studies and they confirmed it. Showing time in their statistics shows that properly priced homes selling in under 30 days, every single pricing bracket got at least 2 showings per week.
Wow.
Every single pricing bracket got at least 2 showings per week. Even the $20 million properties on Longboat Key, every single one of them had at least 2 showings per week that sold in 30 days.
Okay.
So here's what I always say. We'll know whether we got it right or not. We will know whether we got it right or not, because we'll either have a revolving door of showings or we'll hear crickets. A properly priced property should get at least 2 showings per week and 1 or multiple offers in 30 days. I say at least 2 showings per week and 1 or multiple offers in 30 days. If we don't have that response, it's not me, it's not you, it's the market saying they don't accept your price.
Okay.
I think there's a statistic too. I saw that a home with 2 or more price reductions usually sells at 83% of its list price. Sales list.
I'd buy it. Yeah. But that goes back to the point that I always make, which is you only get one chance to properly price the property and have it sell for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. You can improperly price it and you can get it sold, but you only get one chance to do it and sell it for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Because to Lori's point, after it's had so many price reductions, it eventually sells for lesser percentage of its list price.
Because here's the situation that I have. I just got a listing yesterday, and it's in a new development. So I'm competing with a builder, right? And the builder's building new homes. They get plenty of lots available, so on and so forth. But the sellers want to sell the home because they don't like the area or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
and they're going to have to sell it for less than the builder.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to figure out strategy-wise, what would you recommend? That I price it based on what the builder is selling?
No. So keep in mind, to the buyers, we're just a can of green beans on the shelf. In order to sell our home, we have to offer more value than every other property we compete against. And when buyers shop for us, they don't just shop in this neighborhood. They're going to shop anywhere between 3 to 5 miles as the crow flies from this property.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to figure out 3 to 5 miles out, what can a buyer buy for that price or less that offers more?
Wow.
And that's where most realtors shit the bed, excuse my French for the 3rd time today. Most realtors get hyper-focused on the neighborhood. The neighborhood's not your competition, not your only competition, my friend. You have 3 to 5 miles, and even sometimes more. Because like where Don's at, Scottsdale. Well, guess who wants to buy a house in Phoenix? Me. And guess where I'm willing to buy a house? From Scottsdale to effing Queens. Queen Creek. It's like an hour away, but it's on the other side of Phoenix. It's miles and miles and miles away. So you need to know what your competition is. And that's why Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, the house is in it was built in 2023. And it's in Parrish. And you know Parrish, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm standing in Parrish.
Right? Parrish has builders everywhere.
Well, yeah, and so here's what we know. What neighborhood is it in?
She's on Sunset. I'd have to look it up.
It doesn't. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Here, this will apply. Buyers are going to say, "What can I get for this price or less that offers more?" Right? And get the builder. Buyers are ready, willing, and able to pay at least 10% more. Excuse me. Sorry, hiccups. At least 10% more for new home based solely on the fact that it's new. However, this is the first time in my career where a buyer can buy a new home for less than they can buy new construction, or buy new construction for less than they can buy resale.
Yeah.
What I challenge you to do, whenever you get the emails from the builders with their incentives, take a screenshot of them, put them in your listing folder. Because I have those. I have all the incentives from the builders, because the builders are willing to pay $35,000 towards buyer's cost to close. They're willing to buy your rate down to a 3.9. They're willing to give $10,000 in flex cash, and they're willing to pay me 5% just to drop you off at adult daycare.
Yeah.
So I show those incentives to the clients and say, this is what we're competing with. How do we compete with that? There's only one way. Price.
Okay.
You got to get below them.
You got to get below the builder's price. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, because the builder, they have so much more flexibility than.
Most of the builders are guys. Most of the builders are publicly traded companies. They're allowed to take a loss. Yeah. What happens if they take a loss? Investors just give them more money. They keep moving. A homeowner can't do that. So the only thing we can toggle is the price. You have to find your biggest competitor and get just below them.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep. And then what do I say? The last question. Well, I'll do two more, but Maria, what do I say to defend days on market in specific neighborhoods? How's that working out for them? Meaning if they're like, well, the average in our neighborhood's 95 days on market. Great. How's that working out for you? It's like, in other words, there's a big difference between asking and getting. So whenever I get the people that die on the hill of days on market, I go through all the active homes in the neighborhood and I say, okay, let's talk about that. Well, here you got this guy, 400 days, 300 days, 600 days, 455 days, 153 days, 65 days. And I go down the list. And I would you like to be them? If you'd like to be them, that's fine. We can pick one of these prices. But here's the good news. We clearly know these aren't working. So do you want to be them or do you want your home to sell? Throw the days on market out the window.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You're welcome. One more question. If anybody has a question, and then I'm going the way of the dodo bird.
All right, Matt, can I throw one?
Yep.
Hey, so I am going to be meeting with for sale by owner, right, today.
Mm-hmm.
But that for sale by owner, the actual owner isn't here, but the authorized person to sell the house is the relative, and that one is the one who's managing their Zillow and stuff.
Is there what?
It's managing the Zillow and having it online and all that
right.
stuff.
Who's the authorized person? Authorized person?
He's like related cousin situation.
Relative. I thought you said realtor. I was about to slap you.
No.
The authorized person's their realtor, but I'm going to go meet with him. All right. So their relative is the authorized person.
Yes, and she's not licensed at all. I confirmed that too as well. Now, the seller are open to working with realtor, but they don't want to list with realtor. Now, me going to tour the property is because the property does have a great potential. It's just terribly posted and everything. Now, how would you approach something like that?
I'm not meeting with the relative. I'm not. Even if they're authorized to sign the paper, I'm not meeting with them. Because you're telling me the seller, the key decision maker, doesn't want to list with a realtor. So until I can get in front of guys, not every listing is one we can take, right? Like just because you can actually go walk through the property doesn't mean you can take the listing. So until I can have a conversation with the property owner, the decision maker, they're ready, willing, and able for my help, I'm not going to waste my time going there. It's like this. You ask the seller, okay, get it. I respect the fact that you don't want to hire a realtor. You may be able to sell it on your own. My question for you is, how long have you given yourself to do this on your own and have it not sell before you would consider another option? Even if one of those options was you kept the house. Their answer is going to dictate what I do. Now, you've already scheduled the appointment, go, but have zero expectations about getting any types of commitment while you're there. Because you're not speaking with the decision maker, you're speaking with their, I can't think of the right word to use here. You're speaking with their liaison is who you're speaking with. So, and they've been given directive to not hire a realtor by the seller. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the long and short of it is this. I would get back on the phone with the seller and I would ask them that question. Hey, you might be able to sell it on your own. Nobody would be happier for you than me. How long have you given yourself to sell it on your own and have it not sell before you would ever be open to another option, even if that option was you keep this house? Their answer will dictate if you can help them.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. All right, guys. Well, I apologize that this wasn't, we didn't have a, like a grand presentation for this call today. I kind of liked it though. Kind of liked it. Anyway, you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Do something hard. I'm going to go get on the phone with a $4.48 million listing and find out why the hell he won't sign the listing agreement.
Wow.
I'm going to go sharpen a marble.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be doing after that call. All right, guys. All right, have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you guys for showing up and giving me the space to help you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Well done.
Thanks, guys.